And welcome to the town work session and special meeting for the town of Ossining for September 16th, 2014. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless. This evening, we're going to be starting off with a special meeting. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Harder.
Present.
Councilmember Jeffrey. Councilmember Blaha.
Here.
Councilmember Wilshire.
Present.
Supervisor Donnelly.
Present.
Are there any public comment on agenda items this evening? Resolutions. Resolution A, consent to enter into contract negotiations. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby authorizes the supervisor, town attorney, budget officer, and one member of the Town Board to enter into contract negotiations with the Village of Ossining for provision of police services in the unincorporated area of the Town of Ossining. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'm going to make a statement after the vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The Town of Ossining administration has been extremely happy with the performance of the Westchester County Police over the past 4 years, as have the residents and commercial property owners of the unincorporated area. The county police have demonstrated professionalism above and beyond our expectations and have set the bar high for any police department that becomes responsible for the safety and well-being of the unincorporated area. We would not hesitate to recommend their services to any community interested in controlling the cost of policing in their community. However, after careful consideration, much research, and investigation, the Town Board of the Town of Ossining has agreed to enter into contract negotiations with the Village of Ossining for the provision of police services. The Village of Ossining's proposal has many attractive elements, specifically the opportunity to pursue consistent policing throughout both the town and village, and also in the Ossining school system. We are also pleased with this contract, included hiring 5 people from the town of Ossining, allowing our community members to serve their neighbors and grow in our community. These contract negotiations must be completed no later than October 15th. But we have every hope that they will even be completed sooner, allowing the village to begin its hiring process and the town to budget appropriately. Should the contract negotiations falter for any reason and are not completed in the aforementioned date, the town board is prepared to request a year extension for the current contract with the Westchester County Department of Public Safety. During that time, if necessary, we would request that New York State perform a complete evaluation of public safety needs of the unincorporated area is free of charge, using that time to further ensure the prospective services that will be further ensure that prospective services will be provided responsibly and at a most reasonable cost. Both the Village of Ossining and Westchester County Department of Public Safety are exemplary, thank you, police forces, and we feel the unincorporated area would be in good hands either way. However, we have concerns about certain details of the Village of Ossining's proposal, and which has kept us from making a quick decision based on cost savings. Engaging armed officers charged with protecting the public is the most sensitive service we provide, requiring individuals to always be at their best and being alert and ready for any emergency, and thus raises certain concerns regarding the considerable dependence on overtime in the village's proposal. The proposal, I'm sorry, I should have made it larger print. The proposed method of providing the services relying so heavily on overtime appears to have few, if any, adherence in local law enforcement. The village has been asked to address this viability of this method and insists that it will devise a plan effectively to use this technique. It thus appears that the actual specifics may be in the work in progress. The town, in this instance, will insist that the village on the village meeting its contractual obligations and will rely on the village providing the agreed upon services at the agreed upon price for the life of the contract. In this regard, the village will be treated as any other outside contractor. The village has been asked to address whether the contract may result in the village's subsidizing the town by providing the services at less than an actual cost. The village denies that this is the case. As with any other outside contractor, the town cannot question the financial conclusions reached by the village in formulating its proposal, but instead must assume that the village and its financial analysts have fully considered the financial viability of the proposal. The town simply does not have the ability to analyze the nuances of village finances and must assume that the village officials fully understand their fiduciary responsibilities and obligations to the taxpayers of the village in proposing the enforcement contractual obligations to the village that the village will be assuming. The village must understand that the town administration likewise has a fiduciary responsibility to the residents of the unincorporated area of the town. As a result, the town will not be in a position to renegotiate the contract midterm. The village should not enter into this contract if it believes the contract can be renegotiated or the services reduced if the costs are found to be exceed the guaranteed amounts that the town will be charged under the proposal. More of our concerns are the use of overtime, double-up days as a plan and not as an emergency provision. During the first 7 months of the contract, while the 5 new officers are at the police academy, 100% of the town coverage will encompass officers working overtime or part of a double-up day. The use of overtime throughout the contract. At current staffing recommendations, there should be 10 officers assigned to the posts within the town in order to properly cover days off, personal days, sick days, and vacations. What provisions have been made if one or more of the new officers does not successfully complete the police academy? To begin the process will take another 7 months, which means that more overtime than anticipated would be figured into the contract. How do we guarantee that the officers assigned to the 2 town posts, indeed will be covering the town sectors? How do we ensure that the residents of the unincorporated area are receiving the services for which we contracted? To this end, the town will be requesting delivery of monthly payroll and attendance records of the officers assigned to the 2 town sectors, along with the logs and locations, and the possible installation of GPS in all vehicles assigned to the town patrol. I just want to point out that we currently have GPSs in all of our town cars and most of our town trucks. We have put GPSs in. And that's, of course, this is all in why we're going into negotiations. We have verified that village police can be given legal authority to provide and enforce law enforcement in the town outside of their current jurisdiction through a town board resolution, which will be forthcoming if and when the negotiations reach a successful conclusion. We look forward to moving We look forward to moving ahead with this process and trust that the residents of the unincorporated area understand and respect both our decision and our process. Together, we hope to continue to strengthen our community and partner on this new endeavor in a way that enhances all of Ossining. So that's the press release that's going out. We've already spoken to the village. We've already spoken to Westchester County. We will be starting our meetings with the village at the beginning of next week. This ended up to be a very, very busy week, way beyond this. And so we have our team will go out and meet with them, and I'm sure we'll have and looking forward to a successful time.
I'll make a comment. Anybody wants to make a comment? I just want to say just highlight things that are already in this press release, that this is a vote that is not at all against Westchester County. They have done provided us wonderful service. This is a vote to enter into contract negotiations. Obviously, we have to get to the end of that process, but that is to for me, so I will speak for me, it is a vote for in favor of a continuity of a community service through our community and our schools, as well as cost savings. But yes, there's some thought process to what that savings is, but we believe that I believe personally that there is a fiduciary duty to that significance of, I'm not saying others don't, I just don't want to be forward and speak for anybody. And so I'm happy about the work we've done on this board on this, and I look forward to going forward.
Anything to say? Okay. You, sir? Okay, you, sir?
No, not now, anyway.
Right. This is a process, and we'll continue the process. We do want to point out, too, that if anybody does have any other comments, we have gotten tremendous amount. We have listened to you. We have done everything that we possibly can do. This has been a couple of months. We've been working on this almost daily. So we're very pleased with that we were able to answer all the comments that came out. But just remember, we do have a town hall meeting on September 30th. Here we go.
Maybe I'll change my mind and make a brief comment.
Okay.
Just to the extent that there's a lot that goes on in a decision such as this. And I know it's been a topic which has been the subject of numerous work sessions and numerous executive sessions where we were taking advice from our town council. And it's been the subject of numerous town hall meetings. So the public has seen that this has been a very important issue that this board has taken very seriously. But in addition to all of that, there's been a lot of research and investigation and communications. And I just wanted to show just one document. I just happen to have it in my briefcase because I was studying it today. It's about a 90-page document that studies the staffing of police forces and cost-benefit analyses and workloads and so this has become nothing less than a major project, and I think this board has worked very well on trying to understand the needs, trying to understand the facts, and trying to analyze and strategize and do what's right for the community. And I couldn't stress that more. This is not about a personal agenda of anybody on this board, as far as I can tell. It's not about an agenda of any political process or favoritism. This is about the town of Ossining. And to the extent that we're not done with this process, I just want anybody who's interested to know that this is a process that's being taken very seriously, and it is a process. And I hope that at the end of the day that we all are comfortable with the ultimate decision that's made. But currently, this is just a vote to continue the process in a particular direction.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Letter B, stipulation of agreement between Town of Ossining and Teamsters Local 456. Be it resolved that upon recommendation of the town supervisor, the town board hereby ratifies and approves the stipulation of agreement regarding Marco Piscopiello and return of excess wages paid in error between the town and Local 456 International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Chauffeurs, Warehousemen, and Helpers of America, AFL-CIO, effective September 16th, 2014, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is here authorized to execute the stipulation of the town's on the town's behalf. Do I have a motion?
Second?
I just want to point out that the contract, if you're not familiar with municipal government, you have many, many steps, and we stepped the wrong way, and so we're and so in order to make it right, we have a very great relationship with our Teamsters, and we'll fix it by the end of this year, and Marco will continue on his stepping program up the ladder, so sort of thing.
Okay, letter C.
No, all in
favor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Letter C, personnel resignation. Resolve that the Town Board of Town of Ossining hereby accepts with regret the resignation of chauffeur Naisha Lamar, effective September 12th, 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just in case anyone has a question, our chauffeurs are the people that drive our seniors around and drive homebound. Anybody that's homebound, they drive their meals over to them. And we regret to have to accept it. She was a part-time chauffeur, so.
Yeah, she, when did she come up with this?
Last week. So,
No, I know her.
Yeah.
So that's probably-
okay, not a problem.
Letter D, contract retaining outside counsel for tax certiorari. Resolve that the town supervisor is authorized to sign a retainer agreement with Danielle G. Vinvelet, P.C., to act as trial counsel in the Article 7 tax certiorari matter 200 South Highland Avenue, LLC versus the town of Ossining in accordance with the proposal letter dated September 10, 2014, and in a form approved by the town attorney. Do I have a motion?
Just one correction, it's Vincelet. So the second V is a C.
Oh,
So amended.
move, do we have a motion to amend?
Mhm. Motion to amend.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye, as amended.
Opposed?
I just want to point out what the town is the assessing unit for the village of Ossining, the unincorporated area of Ossining, and the village of 91% of the village of Briarcliff Manor. We do have tax certiorari's. Commercial properties go after tax certiorari's if they are unhappy with their taxes. It was explained to me at the very beginning of my tenure here, even when I was in the village government, that you have a toolbox of things that you sometimes have to use, and some of them are appraisals, and some of them are hiring counsel to go to court over certain certiorari's when you can't come to an agreement. I would say 95% of our certiorari's are agreed upon before they get to the to go to court. We are at the appraisal exchange situation on this one, right?
It's the final trial appraisal exchange.
Right.
And this is the final stage before a trial. This is a matter which we've tried very hard to come to a resolution. We've had meetings, and both sides are still pretty far apart, so the court is going to assign, is going to require that the parties start a trial if we can't get it resolved.
Right. And sometimes you have to be prepared to do that, and we do budget accordingly for that every year. So we have a whole budget section in the assessor's line for such certiorari claims.
We have a motion to adjourn into work session.
Motion to adjourn into work session.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We're going to leave a copy of the press releases at the end of the table, in case anybody wants one. And it will be going out tonight via the Magic Man. Okay. Work session. All right, so our first item on our work center agenda is to change in taxable status date the assessor's office. Fernando, you want to come and sit next to Wayne so you can explain what this is all about to us and so we can understand it better for a future.
Thank you.
I think you want me to pass it, so you don't have to do that.
Can you send this to Maddie electronically too so that we can put this up on the webpage tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
But we won't get the cool pink highlights, will we?
I can scan it.
Okay, okay.
So
I just want that.
basically, what I have just handed out is the property tax
He can't
cycle.
hear you.
Is the button pushed up?
Well, he wasn't.
Basically, what I've
Yeah.
just handed out is the property tax cycle. I've highlighted the dates that apply to us here in Westchester County, particularly the town of Ossining. As you know, the dates are very important in order for us to determine when is the value, the point in time where we place a value on properties. And in preparation for the reassessment, implementation of the new rule, after the reassessment, we need to change the taxable status date. The taxable status date is the date that all exemption renewals or new applications are due. Currently, the taxable status date is June 1st, which is also the same date that the tentative assessment roll has to be published and provided to the citizens and the state. This law changed in Westchester County back in the middle, around 2005, I think it was. Most towns have already changed the date. The reason for that is that the timing is very limited to process the exemption applications and renewals. And also, under the new reassessment full value system, we will be doing more adjustments to the roll based on market conditions and shifts in markets in different neighborhoods and different property types. So having the exemption renewals and the taxable status date changed to May 1st will give us time to accomplish all that in time for the June 1st tentative assessment roll. The reason I am asking for this change now is so that we have plenty of time to advise the residents who need to submit their exemption renewals, particularly the senior citizens. We're very good in that aspect. My office, my staff, many times do personal visits to when we don't get an exemption renewal from some of our senior citizens because they're homebound or they forget. We do everything possible to advise them as of the date. So since we are going to be doing this change to May 1st, we need ample time not only to publish it, but also to have meetings in the senior center and at every opportunity, every town hall meeting, to make sure that everybody's aware that next year the taxable status day is May 1st and it's not June 1st.
Can you, I just need clarification, because I don't know that, so I need real-world explanations, just, so exemption renewals, so enhanced star would be, right?
Correct. The enhanced
Okay.
star, any exemption, enhanced star, senior or limited income exemption, veterans
Veterans.
exemption, disability exemptions, or any of the other exemptions.
You're going to explain something? You have that, no, it looks like you're going to feed me the info.
Also, the taxable status date is the date, the deadline, where the condition of the property is measured in order to determine value. So, for example, if the house burns the day after taxable status date,
Which we hope for no one. But yes.
which we hope for no one, we are not able to adjust the roll to reflect the damage. So the taxable status date, that is the extreme case, but also is where it's most important when there is any new construction, demolition, or changes to the physical inventory of the property. The taxable status date is the date that determines what value we place on that property. So if a new building is in the construction process and is at 50% on taxable status day, that is the date that we have to use. So it is very important in the sense that we need more time to process not only the building permits, but also exemption applications and renewals.
So, and you'll explain this in detail at the September 30th Town Hall meeting, too, when we have our update on the reval and everything, right?
Yes, yes, I will. make an announcement.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring one point up because I see this quite frequently with real estate transactions when it's an important segment of the business community that should be told about this clearly is the real estate community because in particularly the star exemption applications, right now it's assumed most towns have a June 1st date. If you're changing the date to May 1st, so anybody who's buying a house in the community, if they're working on, they may be working on an assumption that June 1st is their deadline, and then once you change this, it's going to be May 1st, and they could possibly lose the ability to benefit from the star exemption, the basic star exemption.
For
even.
that year.
Yeah, for the following year.
Can you explain to me a little bit more about, okay, so you're saying right now it's June 1st, many communities are June 1st, and so what is I'm trying to get a little bit more of the impetus of why there's this, because it's going to be a significant change. I mean, people those who do this are used to a certain thing. So I'm just trying to figure out the logistics.
Well, most communities in most of the state, the taxable status date is March 1st. Tentative roll is May 1st. So they have 60 days to finalize all those applications on the process. In Westchester County, the schedule is different.
Okay.
In Westchester County, many communities have already shifted to May 1st.
Okay.
Okay. The impetus for us to request this now is because as we are getting ready to adopt the new roll after the reassessment, which will be the 2016 roll, we will be doing a lot of valuation work, and not only that, part of the process of the reval is to provide the property owners ample opportunity to review and have meetings with us. So to postpone this for the next year would be much more difficult because of the workload that we have coming. But also, it will be easier for us this year or for the next roll to implement this taxable status date change so that we have more time to do the research and to basically go out and advise the property owners of the day change.
I think we need to point out that a couple of things, that if you have basic star, except for this last year, you don't have to reapply every year.
Correct.
That's number one. Number two, advanced star, they go out of their way. They have
Enhanced.
sorry. They go out of their way to find each and every individual that has ever been on enhanced star. So they already go out to their homes and everything. So I think that if we start this process now, we get to the senior citizen groups, we send out letters, we do all the things that we know we need to do. So that would be another thing that you do. The veterans exemptions, do you have to do them every year?
No.
So,
The new veterans application, yes. Any new application, any
any new store, somebody that buys a house and wants to apply for star.
anyone that purchases a house or moves, yes.
Right. Okay, so it's really going to be mostly new applications. Well, it is new applications for new people that purchase. So I think the real estate agents are very important people to get in touch with.
Yes.
That we're going to change that, and the enhanced star people, which are the seniors. So I think it's very important that we reach out to them. We already spoke about going to the senior groups and what have you. Does anybody have any?
Yeah, I have two questions. Number one is, what's the current tentative assessment roll date?
June 1st.
Yeah, the current tentative assessment roll date is June 1st, but that we're not changing or proposing to change.
Yeah, so actually, that really wasn't my question. That was just a question that leads up to my actual question, which is, how then have we operated then if the tentative the taxable status date and the tentative assessment roll date are identical? Then there's been literally no time for homeowners to assess their options. I mean, because you're saying you want to develop a 30-day separation period. Well, what have people gotten up until now? Zero?
Well, what we've been doing up until now is have all hands on deck available so that any applicant or renewal that comes in on the last day, that we process it immediately and get it in the system prior to publishing the tentative roll. Sometimes we have to keep the staff late. Also, up until now, realize that The role is sort of static. We cannot make any changes, only inventory changes, building permits, demolitions. We don't make any market adjustment changes to the actual assessed value of the property, because the equalization rate takes care of everybody
Right.
based on the market analysis. But on a full value environment, we will be doing analysis, and perhaps one neighborhood needs an adjustment up, another neighborhood needs an adjustment down, and very conceivably we could be changing everybody's assessed value in at one point.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question then, is because I thought you might say something like that. Then is 30 days enough? Because if upstate is doing 60 days, why are we proposing only 30 days? I mean, just why? Not because I have an answer, but I don't know why not.
Most assessor will prefer 60 days. However, because of the timing of the documentation requirement to renew or apply for some of these exemptions require income information, which for most people, they do not have it available until they file their income tax return,
April.
which is April 15th, thereabout. So in this case, I would say 30 days will be enough for us.
Because remember, you don't have to do it every.
So this is kind of being, this is kind of brought about because of the reevaluation and the living, breathing of the valuations going forward, or the hope for.
Yes, in this case, yes, but most, not most, but many municipalities have already implemented this change, even though they are not
Doing
planning or
reevaluations.
doing a revaluation. The timing is very
Gives you more
very
time to get
tight.
it done, yeah. And again, it's if it works out that you need the 60 days, we can work on that too, because we're flexible, but you want to do this for the 2015 roll,
For
right?
yes.
Just so you know, when it comes, as far as the exemption filing date, this is the last date. It's not as if everybody comes piling in on that
Right.
date. You can come in earlier. And
They
many
come in
people
all
do.
year long.
Yes.
I mean, they literally come in all year long.
Immediately after the tentative roll is filed and we have the new exemption application forms, we start accepting. However, some of the exemptions require income information and income verification, so those residents would have to wait until, for the most part, file their income tax return or get their end of the year income statement to support the exemption application.
How are we going to provide information for the community to know that the date has changed?
We will have it posted prominently on the website, and at every opportunity, I will hold meetings with the senior groups and the veterans group, like the senior center, and make sure that they are aware. Also, the realtors, the industry professionals, real estate professionals are very important in that they advise their clients, particularly new home buyers, as to the dates. Also, the date is published in the state websites, where all the different community or municipalities' dates are changed. So
You also send a mailing out to everybody with Enhanced Star every year.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, they'd send mailings out
Yeah.
all the time, but to that group of people.
yeah. Early in January, one of the first things we do, we send the exemption renewal forms to all those applicants. Not
That
only
they know of, that they know exists.
And they will be notified that the renewal date has changed to May 1st from June 1st.
Any more questions? So we'll put this on the agenda for next week to officially change the date, and you can start planning your meetings. And yes, ma'am.
Can I ask? Fernando had given us a sample resolution from the town of Greenberg, and it actually there was a local law. So do we have to go through the process of
Is it a local
a
law?
public hearing?
You're correct about Greenberg, but I would have to look and see currently whether or not we have, I'll have to go through our code and see if this is covered in our local.
Well, if it is a law, then we'll start the process of public hearings and what have you.
Exactly. So I'll check and see how we've done in the past.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to just make one switch in the schedule. Liz, did you want to address us, or, oh, you're just here to visit? Okay.
I'll get to you, but if you want to come. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I thought maybe I lost a date or an email. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you want to ask a question? Oh, okay.
Well, actually, no, let me do it now. We have
Wait a
a gentleman who addressed this body, who was supposed to be checking up on Tyler Industries.
Yes, Haberman.
Yes, we have
our
not
monitor.
seen Mr. Haberman since his last appearance. And I was wondering if we might be able to invite him in and,
He will definitely be at the September 30th Town Hall meeting.
Yes.
Yes,
Good.
because, again, it's going to be an update on the reval and the reassessment, and also we want him to talk about this property thing there, too, so, yeah.
While he has not been in our meeting, he's been very busy reviewing the work that has been done and even doing inspections to follow up and review the data collection process that is ongoing. So
How's the percentages going?
it's going good, better than in Greenberg. I think our entry rate is about 55%.
Okay.
But they just started mailing the cards to those property owners that were not available when they did the second go around trying
Right.
to get the interior inspection. So the postcard requesting that they call to make an appointment is doing very well, and for the most part, that's what they're doing now, appointments.
And we did set up for that at the September 30th Town Hall meeting. There will be someone there making appointments. So
Yes.
if you've received a card in the mail, or you want to make an appointment because you're, in and out of town or what have you, then there will be someone there making appointments. So we did work that out to set up that desk, right?
Yes.
They would be doing that.
Yeah, the commercial property owners have received cards also. They are making appointments, and for the most part, most of the work is being done in the village of Ossining. The town of Ossining, the town outside, will be next in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
I just want to say that they have been to my house already. And I never received a card or notice of any kind.
that you don't receive anything. Yeah.
Well,
why
they
would you- why
do
would you just
send a
show up
brochure
without
out.
saying anything?
Because they're doing whole neighborhoods.
I don't care what you're doing.
I know, but that was.
Come into my house, you're supposed to ask or say something, and nothing was said.
No, they are sending
No.
the process
No, the
calls.
first-
This has passed. They
No, no.
already been. And
But-
if
but-
I had
No,
not,
Yeah.
if I had not been here and known about that, I would not have let them in.
Okay, but, okay, go ahead.
Prior to them going to a neighborhood or street, they send out that brochure, which I have
Yeah.
brought many times, to the individual property owners. But they are sending, the process is to send that at least 1 or 2 weeks prior to the data collectors being in an area or a street. So you should have received that.
Whatever the process is, it didn't work. I did not get it. But I knew what was going on because I'm here. Now,
Right. But the gentleman had his Tyler jacket on, he had his
I know
ID
who
and
they
everything,
were.
yeah.
and I had told my wife, because I wasn't home when they come, but I had told her what to look for.
They do a bulk mailing of the brochures to all the streets that they're going to be collecting within the next
Unfortunately,
few
some of
weeks.
those bulk mailings went out during political campaign time too, so, if you take that stack of bulk
No,
mail
it's
sometimes.
okay.
Yeah.
I've let, they did what they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
to do. But
I've had them, my house has got done too, so I did that a while back, so.
Unfortunately, I'm sure there are some properties that did not get the mailings, but I did receive some calls. But for the most part, we checked with the other neighbors on the same street, and they had received the mailing.
yeah.
And it's very easy to, it's a folded document.
It's almost like
It's
a.
very easy
yeah.
to
I know what it is. I have-
misconstrue
I've
it
got
as
it.
junk
Discard it.
mail, maybe. and,
Yes.
Even at the
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
library, I've gotten some. So
Okay.
They passed them out.
Well, moving forward. And
Thank
you do
you.
have quite a few people, once you send out the second notification, that call up for appointments too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. You weren't there, you would have gotten a card and,
I'm fine with it. They finished. It's been there.
In fact, any property owners can call at any time and set up an appointment.
At 3 in the morning?
Pretty much any time there.
Who's call, really? They're gonna answer?
I don't know about 3 o'clock.
said
Well, no,
anytime.
I'm sorry. Call to set up an appointment at any time. But
Will they come
the
at 3 in the
offices
morning?
are open from 8:30 to 5. I don't think 3
He
in the
keeps saying
morning.
anytime.
Just leave a message.
Yeah, and they'll get right back to you.
But you can call and set up an appointment at any time that is convenient for you, including Saturdays, so.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Fernando.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to do an update on the HUD settlement process for the town of Austin. As I'm sure if you've read papers, seen the news, or been to any of these meetings, that there are 31 communities that were put on the HUD list for affordable housing. That the Village of Austin was not on the list, unfortunately. At the beginning, the town of Austin is on the list of 31. They did some analysis, and they came out with with 7 communities that they thought had zoning codes that seemed to be exclusionary of more of multifamily houses and affordable housing. The town disagreed with that, stated so emphatically throughout the whole process. However, this board saw fit to do some minor verbiage changes, not very much. We went from special permit to as of right in certain sections. We took quite a while to do it. It took us months between meeting with the planning consultants and doing the law, because you have public hearings, you do the whole bit. We got it done. Whatever is going on with the Westchester County is really not our business. We are not even part of this whole settlement, each municipality. But that said, just as we were finishing up our process, there was another survey done, another report done by the HUD monitor, and he came out with different analysis, and you had to review your analysis, and ours came back. And at which point we had already written a letter saying that we felt that we complied in just every facet of it. The entire unincorporated area and the Village of Austin all have the same schools. We have. You can barely tell the boundaries. Everyone was a little surprised when communities like Mamaroneck and Austin were ever on any of these lists. The monitor saw eye to eye with us, and we are off all lists. We never got put on the second list. 6 municipalities got put on the second list, and now their job is to go through this process. Some of those 6 have been on both lists. That's their issue. So we have officially. In the latest report, off the HUD lists of municipalities that have any discrepancies in what they think is either exclusionary for any reason whatsoever, affordable housing. The effect that this has on communities is that the federal government has been holding CDBG money up. That's money used for streetscaping and roads and stuff, especially in municipalities such as the Village of Austin. The town of Austin uses very little CDBG money, but the Village of Austin is one of the big users of that money. The money has been stopped as of right now, and we're hoping that everyone works together, and Westchester County works together with HUD and come up with a solution so that everyone can move forward in Westchester County. I'm very pleased. I thank this board for all the work that they did. I thank David Stolman, who's our planning consultant. I thank Wayne, and I thank Maddie. A tremendous amount of work went into this. As it does in every single project that we do in the town of Austin, and I'm very happy. I went and sat in 2 hours of a 4-hour meeting, And I said, once I heard that we were okay, I slipped out the back door. But it wasn't our me. I was in the audience. So we're very pleased with that. And I think it's a major accomplishment for this community because we never, I want to repeat that we never thought we were in violation, but we did make it a little bit easier for people to do multi-family housing in areas such as North State Road, which has, and this is essential, water, sewage, and public transportation. So we felt that that was very important if you do these multi-houses. We do have a 12-unit, I guess you would call it townhouses, going up out on North State Road right now, of which two? Yeah. Oh, no, this is the 558 North State Road. So this is, two of them will be affordable housings in that 12 block. And I think that that's very good. Says a lot for this. We have other things happening right now, but they're in flux, and so we don't want to. We have a lot of negotiating to do on certain projects. But one of the things that we are going to talk about at the bottom is we'll talk about in a few minutes is some of the properties that we did auction off, the two of the three properties that we did auction off this time. So I'm very proud of this board. I'm very proud of this administration, and I'm very proud of the entire town general, and so it's the entire town of Ossining for helping us in any way that anybody did to get through this process. And I'm very proud that the people at their analysis was done by people at Pratt Institute. You have HUD, you have the Monitor, you have Westchester County, you have planning boards. You have all these people. We've sat in this room with maybe 25 people in this room over this one issue, and I'm very proud that everybody looked at it together, looked at the logic that we put together, we set forward on this thing, and we're able to move on. That's my HUD update. Okay? Okay, Camp Woods, our next item on the agenda is Camp Woods payment plan. You want to do that?
Yeah, sure. This is pretty standard. You guys have seen these before. This is something that the receiver of taxes gave us a memo about yesterday. You all got a hard copy of this tonight. But basically the property in question, or I guess I should say the owners in question, had another property that they just finished paying off the arrears for, and now this is an adjacent property. So they have submitted a certified check of $40,000. They just need your approval, or the tax receiver needs your approval to go ahead and apply that towards the balance owed, and that will get them about halfway there. So it's a payment plan. The terms are laid out in her memo, and if it's okay with everybody, I'll put the resolution on for Tuesday night.
I just want to point out to people, because when people hear Camp Woods, I hope everybody realizes that Camp Woods Road, this is Camp Woods Road. These are houses on Camp Woods Road. So this is not Camp Woods campgrounds. It's not the grounds, where everybody lives in those. So this is a couple of houses right next door to each other on Camp Woods Road itself. And they did come forward and want to do this payment plan, so I don't see any problem with that. Do you see any problem with that, sir?
I don't.
You, sir?
No.
Do you, sir? No. Madam? No. Okay, so yes, put it on the next agenda.
But there is a plan, and there are consequences if they don't comply. blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
sorry, you still are
it's a
responsible for all your penalties, interest,
Yeah.
and everything. And they did pay off one of the two buildings right away, and as they sent in a certified check for $40,000, yes.
And they must maintain all current taxes at the
Yes,
same
in order to
time.
keep, yeah, right.
Got all that on here.
Yep. Oh, okay, Cedar Lane. We had several properties that were in the foreclosure group that we allowed people to have till September 1st to be in contract with. Two of the three houses have sold, and we're very happy that people worked very hard on helping people relocate and where they had to in order to, they benefit from it. If we allow them to sell the house and we don't take it into tax foreclosure, they can benefit for any of the leftover funds received by the sale of that house. So we're very happy. We had one property on Cedar Lane, Maddie? Yeah.
Sure. So there was one property on Cedar Lane that, the the receiver of taxes has discussed this with the board several times, that there were some extenuating circumstances with a will and probate court and so on and so forth. So basically, they have asked, I'm not sure who specifically of the family who's
Right.
involved in this, has asked for an extension.
It's the
because-
attorney for the
Okay.
family that's
Yeah.
asked for it.
Yeah.
So they've not yet, I mean, obviously they haven't met the September 1st deadline, but the receiver of taxes had discussed it with us and proposed that we give them until the end of December
Right, December
of
31st.
this year.
Yeah, I mean, according to the,
Exactly.
To be in contract. They haven't even
Oh,
finished
oh,
the
I see what you're
probate
saying.
part of
Okay.
their,
Right.
but their will is missing on
Got it.
there.
there, there's a problem because, it's a standard problem, but the attorney explained it, and it appears that she's, working on it diligently and doing her best, but the process can be slow sometimes when you're
Right.
working at a surrogate's court.
So instead of coming back to you several times before the end of the year, we're just going to extend it right till December 31st, and at which time we can reevaluate it again.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, number 5. I can't read my own writing.
State Street auction.
Yeah, this is about the auction properties.
State Street auction.
Priestley, State Street.
I can't even read it.
It's been a long 2 days.
It's been it has been. Yeah, this is, we had we had 3 buildings auctioned at the foreclosure auction for tax foreclosure. One being 94 State Street, one being, I don't know if you have it, 94 State Street, and one being, I'll pass these, vacant lots on Priestley Street, which we've seen in front of us many times. We did have a successful sale. Council is taking care of the closing with the parties, hopefully, right?
Yep.
There you go. This one's Priestley, one's, yeah.
Yeah, both parties have attorneys, and they're both working on
Yeah,
getting
Priestley.
prepared to close.
That's State
This is
Street,
State
this
Street.
is Priestley.
You have Priestley and
He
and which?
has them, I don't
I don't know, well,
Okay.
if you want it back, you
Okay, yeah, give it back to her, and we'll
I
give
don't
you
really
another one, yeah.
You don't need them?
I don't even-
So anyway, what we put down is both of these properties, we started the bidding process on less than the taxes that were owed. So, the 94 State Street almost came up to what the taxes owed were on the property. Priestley did not come up to it, so what we have to do is, were you at that meeting with us?
A
Yeah.
portion,
Yeah.
yes. So basically, the revenue that was received by performing the auction has to be divvied up between the taxes owed between the town and village.
'Cause they're
And
both
then
village
obviously through the
properties.
town is county and school as well.
Right. Yeah, what happens is, in these 2 particular instances, they're both in the village of Austining. So the town would receive its portion of the taxes from the school taxes, the county taxes, and the town taxes, and the village would do their percentage of the village taxes. And in order for the title companies to get clear titles so that the properties can be closed on, they need us to waive the additional taxes and penalties and interest. So that's what, and these 2 properties are both, the Priestley Street properties have been, we've done it twice already, done foreclosure auctions. It's been hanging around for many, many, many years. And the State Street property had a very severe fire to it, so but that one, in the bidding, came up practically to what the taxes that were due on it, so it was very good. Go ahead.
One question, you said something about waiver. We're
We're
not
wa-
waiving
well, yeah.
taxes, just the penalties and interest?
We're
Or
we're-
are we waiving some taxes?
We're waiving, what we did was we put these both on, we started the minimum bid of the auction at much less than the monies owed by the taxes, in order to move forward with them and to get some interest in the auctions. So there will be some taxes and interest and penalties.
It's
that-
not waiving. Waiving
Yeah.
is the wrong word. It's writing off.
Writing off
Yeah.
penalties and interest, but not the taxes.
No, taxes as well, any taxes that aren't being paid through the proceeds of the sale.
Right.
Whatever wasn't recorded.
Basically, you're clearing the property so this is a clean slate for the new buyer. There's no
But there
prior
is,
taxes.
if they close on September 30th, there is a 1/4 of taxes for
Right.
this year that they'll pay, and they'll pay ongoing
So
taxes.
the portion from the date of their ownership, they'll have to start paying taxes, that's correct.
I apologize, but I don't understand, based on what was just handed to me, where it says how much taxes were due versus what is actually going to be paid. So I
Okay.
want to know what the deficiency in the actual tax dollars, not penalties and interest, but what part of this shows that we are not getting tax dollars.
So if you look at the first block here, it says the total taxes for, the total tax bills was $24,132.43.
What is this one?
Which one are you on?
I'm sorry, Priestley? Okay,
24,000.
right.
Where does it say that? Oh, I see.
Right, the total taxes,
Mhm.
okay. It says the town and village responsibility through 9/30/14 would be
Mhm.
23,114.
Mhm.
That's, okay. What we sold the property for is $12,000.
Understood, okay.
Okay, so it would be the difference between those two numbers.
Okay, and where does it say penalties and interest?
Everything is included in the numbers in this box. It's the village lien, the lien consists of the penalties, the taxes, and the interest, so.
Okay, got it, thank
Okay.
you.
Now, who bought this? Did a company or
Uh,
a person?
guys sitting right in the second seat up there.
Well, when we were here that day.
There's no one
I was going to
there.
say, Liz got very nervous. She's in our audience tonight. They were both, private people that bought the properties. And the 94 State Street is a tear down. We knew that was a tear down and had to be
No,
rebuilt.
but I
So
was wondering about Priestley, because that's been.
that's been around for a very,
been
very
around
long
there
time.
for a while.
And everybody was made well aware that they had to go to the village for access into the properties and what have you. And this gentleman seemed to think that he could move forward with that,
But
so.
did he lives down there, near there?
I don't know where he lives, yeah,
No?
yeah. But they all went to the properties.
That's
and
what I was
they-
about to say. I hope you
yeah.
saw what was
yeah,
there.
Yeah, they all went to the properties. So this is just something, and we apologize that, we're not, this came up latish this afternoon, that we had this meeting today to come up with this, because we need to do this in order to close on these properties. So we'll have it in much more detail for you for the resolution next week.
Well, I was going to say also if it might be helpful for us to send you actually the Excel spreadsheet so you can
Right.
tap into the boxes and see what the formulas were.
I'd be interested, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll
Thank
get
you.
that done. We'll get that done for you. Okay, is there? Okay, so are we adjourning into executive session for legal advice?
Motion to adjourn into executive session for legal advice.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Legal advice for
We meet every day, every week.
personnel or?
No, legal advice for, legal
Okay.
advice. So thank you very much. I want to just say a couple of things before we close out this day. Next Saturday, and of course now I've shuffled all my papers around, next Saturday on the 27th, correct, from 10 to 2, No.
From 9 to 11.
From 9 to
From
11.
9 to 11.
9 to 11, Senator Carlucci will be at the Starbucks in Arcadia Shopping Center to meet and talk to people about, oh, here it is, right here, 9 to 11.
It's just a mobile office hours,
Right.
just so he can come out to the community and anybody who wants to ask him a question or meet their senator or speak to him or
Buy him coffee.
or buy him. No, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
This was a big discussion before the meeting starts. But I want to remind everybody that this Saturday from 10 to 2 at Richard Wishney Park will be a health and fitness fair. And from what I gather from the news tonight, it's going to be like the most gorgeous day, one of the top 10 days of the year. So we can only hope, because it's got really cold and it got really warm and then it got really cold again. So please come out from 10 to 2. There'll be lots of different people there to talk to about fitness and health, and there'll be a lot of games, and they're going to put kayaks in the little. Yeah. So it should be a good day. Yeah. So, yep, you're absolutely right. Watch out for the turtles. And we just wanted everybody to have a great week. There's a lot of things happening around Ossining. There's a lot of things happening around Westchester County. We're starting to get into the fall, and back to school nights are here, and so everybody is very, very busy right now. We are having Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. Maddie, is the comprehensive plan meeting. we're going to send out an email reminding everyone that it's at 7. So, and what we're doing is we're doing a comprehensive plan review, so that we can check out in 2014, is this 2002 plan, how do we need to update it? And also remember, on September 30th, this lovely board has agreed to work a 5th Tuesday, just so we can have a town hall meeting.
What,
Uh,
what, what do
Next-
we do?
We're having a town hall meeting on
And
September
you-
30th.
You and these fifth Tuesdays.
I can guarantee you that in December, there's a 5th Tuesday. It's the 30th of December. We will not have a meeting that night, so you can mark that in your calendars right now. So, yeah, I will swear to that.
I will not come here, so it doesn't matter. I won't be
No,
here
we've
December
had
30th.
meetings all sorts of nights and days. So I want to thank you. We are in the middle of our budget cycles. We will keep you updated on the as we negotiate the contract with the Village of Austin for police services. And so have a great weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday at the courthouse for a legislative meeting on September 23rd, right? September 23rd. I'm trying to count 7 and 6. So we'll see you then, and have a wonderful week. Thank you.